Recording in progress. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Reddy.
Are you all well today?
Yeah, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm hoping for a quick meeting. I need to get to Parliament as well.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chair.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm also fine, thank you.
Super, super. So today is the 28th of October. When is the BRRR for this committee scheduled to appear on the agenda of the...
It's not scheduled yet because it's not scheduled yet. We still need to ATC it. So if we deal with it today, we approve it, it will then be ATC'd and then we'll get the date.
All right, because I picked up three errors, in the program this week. And it seems that the departments in Parliament are not communicating with one another. The Speaker's office and the committee secretariats, because two of the committees, Agriculture and COCTA, are on oversight this week. And their BRRs were scheduled for today. Now, speaking to the chair of COCTA, he was not happy with the fact that they were not here when this matter was going to be tabled. And you'll be surprised at the response I got from a very senior member who told me, well, it's only a 2-minute speech you need to make in Parliament, so what's the big deal? And it's not the whole committee that's gone on oversight. I think we can't relegate Parliament to just some kind of school play where people just prepare and come and read out something. It's got to be more more impactful than that.
Now you'll have to stand and fall with the report of Parliament of the committee. So the committee's report is important going forward as well, and for generations to come. They will refer back to that report to say, but the committee has made this recommendations in this report, and you must keep the department accountable to your outcomes, your recommendations in that report. So the report is important.
It is important. So, but anyway, now they've removed it. They've removed the two items, and then there was one item which was very interesting on the 4th of November. It was relating to the IEC commissioners. And the 4th of November would have been way past the end of term of the commissioners. I also raised this, with the table, and then they found that, it is correct. I see they changed the whole thing. They brought it in today. So clearly there is no, the departments are not talking to each other. The Speaker's office and the different committees, or maybe the chairs of committees. I think it would have worked well before the 7th administration, because all chairs belong to the same party. So in their caucus meeting, they can just discuss. Now things have changed. The chairs of committees are not all from the same party. So maybe there should be a meeting at some point of the chairs of the committees to discuss programming. Or that they should raise it with their programming whips, so that the programming whips can raise it at the programming committee.
Yeah, so we do have a chair of chairs meeting normally every month, but not programming. But that is dealt with administratively. But I think we are happy. We are happy that we don't have these clashes so far.
I see. I see. Chair, this meeting shouldn't be long, I'm hoping.
No, well, everybody had the opportunity. If we don't
Yes.
need to go,
Yes.
if everybody is happy with the
I think
triple.
no. I think what needs to happen is maybe just give each person 2 minutes just to state their view, and then that's it.
Yeah, so there's two things that's urgent. Well, there are three things. The other one is we cannot apply for our overseas trip if the oversight report is also not in, the KZN Gauteng one. But that isn't that crucial. I think the crucial one now is the BRRR report, so it can be ATC'd. But I think we can start, and we don't really need to have a long meeting. You're right.
Morning, Chair. Morning, Chair. Greeting all colleagues. Chair, I support the Comrade Chris, what he's saying now. The meeting must not be longer today, by look of the program.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. It depends on members how long they want to discuss issues, but I think everybody in our committee is disciplined, so this could be a short meeting. But let's give everybody opportunity. We'll start in 2 minutes' time, and then we can quickly set the timelines for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Morning, Comrade Chris. How are you?
Morning, Comrade Matutu. How are you, my chief? Are you well?
Hey, I'm coping.
I took you out of the seating today because I know you're not well.
Hey, but okay. But because of my tonsil was putting me pressure there. I already prepared. I'm going. If there is a space again.
No. Okay, then you go because the chamber is missing you.
Okay, no, it's fine. I'll go. If there's a space, I'll sit. But if there's no space, I'll join online.
Normally, you guys have a lot of vacancies, so there would be space in a lighter note.
Yes, Chair. Yes.
Well, we don't want our members to be seated in the D8 now. No.
Hey. No, it's fine, Comrade Visa. We'll see afternoon because I also have an appointment for Home Affairs for the passport, but I think it will be quicker.
No. Oh, are you doing yours today?
Yes.
Maybe I should come with you then, because it's both of us that need to do it.
Yeah. We can rush there, even at 1, because mine is at 3. So I want to...
Colleagues, good morning. This is 9 o'clock. And as usual, we start on time in this committee. The agenda has been flighted. Can you move up the agenda or just put it on another mode, please? Thank you very much. Good morning, colleagues. And as we have discussed earlier, this should not be a long meeting. Depends on the outcomes of the BRRR and the oversight report, whether there's a lot of changes to that. But we'll deal with that. Can I now ask that we have a moment of silent prayer or meditation? Thank you. Colleagues, any apologies? Nosipo?
Good morning, Chairperson. There's no apology.
No apologies. Colleagues, can I then ask that we just set up quickly the working relationship with accordance to the for the BRRR report. We all received this BRRR report. Tomani will present the report to us. Can I ask whether everybody had the opportunity to go through this report, and whether we can maybe ask if there's any members that wants to make some changes to the report, or do you want us to go through this report page by page, or can I get any recommendation on how you would like to deal with the BRRR report? I've got a hand by Honourable Reddy.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think on this, I'd like to make a proposal that there is really no need for us to go through the report because it's a process.
Matutu, can you please mute yourself? You are interrupting your own member.
Because the BRRR report now is a culmination of much input that we've made in the committee over a period of time. And we have made our views known. So it's just a matter of the report coming before being approved to go to the full sitting. And there we as parties will then be able to make our comments. In respect of the MK party, we will reserve our rights on this, whether to support or not to support. So that will be my view. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honourable Ditebe.
Good morning, Chairperson and colleagues and our support staff. Chairperson, I would like to put forward a slightly different view. While indeed members have received the report, I think it is proper for purposes of record that we just go through the report to say on page this, is there anybody with the view, etc. Because if we just say we've seen it and let's adopt it, I don't think that's a very tidy way, if one may put it that way, of doing it. This is an institution. It's not just an informal get-together of people. So I'd propose that we go through it, although, of course, we must be mindful of what colleagues have asked for, that is, that we save time. That would be my proposal, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honourable Kobe.
Thanks very much, Chair. Good morning, colleagues, and the support staff that assists us on a weekly basis. Chair, I'd like to support the Honourable Ditebe's proposal, also for the benefit of those who are streaming, just so that they have an understanding of what we have been through, a culmination of the work that we have had. I do agree that for the purposes of record, it's very important that we go through the BRRR report. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. I don't think the idea was not to go through the report. If I also understood Honourable Reddy, I think it's important for us to highlight issues within the report that Tomani will do and then focus on the recommendations in this report.
That is correct, Chair. I had my hand raised because I wanted to correct the two previous speakers. Can we then proceed? In the interest of
so colleagues, if you then allow me, I will then ask the Tomani to highlight us the report and then focus on the recommendations of that report. Can I ask whether everybody will be satisfied with that working arrangement that we will have?
Yes, Chair, agreed. Thank you. Let's move.
Agreed, Chair, and good morning.
Thank you very much. Tomani, can you highlight the report for us, and then let's then focus on the recommendations. Then you can continue. If you can maybe just put it into slide mode.
Yeah, it's good morning, Chairperson and honorable members and my colleagues. I will just have to zoom it because I'm presenting it on Word format. So is it displaying on your side?
It is. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just to provide context on the BRRR, I fully concur with members that we should go through page by page.
Phone number ending in 9.
Is everything okay over there?
You can continue.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. Yeah, I was saying we need to go through it so that then we can just conclude the process that we started last week. The first page, what you see there, we indicate the entities that made the presentations. That is the Auditor General, DPME, as well as Water Research Commission, Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, and the Water Catchment Management Agencies, together with the department. And that happened on the 21st of October. And the committee report as follows. So this is a review of those proceedings. So there's nothing new here that members are not aware of. So that is exactly the report of the review process. And then, of course, it concludes with the recommendations. So the first page, it shows the introduction, where we reflect on the mandate of the committee, which we have dealt with in detail when we're dealing with this strategic plan. And 1.2, it provides the purpose of the BRRR report as outlined in the money bills. And then 1.3, we provide the overview of the mandates, plans and policies guiding the work of the department and the alignment to the NDP as well as the MTDP. So in this case, then we reflect on these countrywide plans and legislations that guide this is the famous infographic which shows the relationships in the water sector insofar as policy is concerned. And table 1, this one is important because now it shows the alignment between the department priorities together with the MTDP and mainly the issues around driving inclusive growth and job creation, building a capable, ethical and developmental state. And then on the other side, then we also show the alignment, how this the department contributes to these priorities, and of course the outcomes around those issues. Section 2, this now is a summary of the briefings from the Auditor General, DPME, on the outcomes, audit outcomes and performance of the department together with its entities. And table 2, that is a summary. In essence, if you look at table 2, then it summarizes all the issues relating to the audit outcomes and also the areas that were found to be performing poorly insofar as audit is concerned. And that it's clearly reflected there, but you will see that mainly the issues around IT environment, that is where the issues, the main findings came from, particularly for the CMAs. So that is the issue, that there was a downtime at some point during the year, which affected the financial reporting systems. So that is the issue. And then, of course, the other issue is the issue around the interpretation of accounting standards between the Auditor General as well as the department in relation to the Lesotho Islands Water Project. So that is an issue which the department has a process that is going on to address that issue. So that is insofar as that section around audit outcomes is concerned. And section 3 provides an overview of the financial and non-financial performance of the department. And in this case, now we reflect on the actual expenditure insofar as performance around the expenditure is concerned. And in this case, then it's important to note that there are two accounts which the department operates, the main account, and from the expenditure point of view, the expenditure was reported at 99.9%. That is only shy of 0.1% to be 100%. So insofar as expenditure is concerned, the department has performed very well, and that is in line with the previous year's performance. But the issue is around the service delivery in terms of the non-financial charges, which we'll deal with in the subsequent sections. And the other account is the water trading entity, which we provide an explanation as to what it is, how it came about, and where it is at now. So this, when the WTE merges with the TCTA to become the agency, that will be the third part, the third transformation of this account. So, but that is really the background around that account. And in terms of the overview of performance per program, Table 3 provides the summary of the performance, and it's clearly displayed there that the Program 3, Water Services Management, is the one that has performed poorly compared to the other programs. And this is partly due to the issues that the department indicated, that there are issues around municipal projects that are funded through the grants and so on. So I think the members and the department discussed this at length. So and there they also reflect areas where the underperformance was reported. And you can see the issue around the bucket eradication that is still continuing. But the concern here was around the 58% in terms of targets versus 99.9%. And then subsequently, we deal with the programs, Program 1, Administration, and we reflect or review the performance. Program 2, Water Resources Management, the performance is clearly shown there. So there we just highlight some of the key achievements as well as areas of underperformance. But of importance here is to note that the departments, despite all these areas of non-performance, they have got a clear action plan to address these areas of underperformance, and which is a realistic plan from where we are sitting. When we look at the plan, it's a plan that is realistic. And Table 5 is a summary of key selected targets that of concern, the ones that perhaps they have not performed very well, but it's just also an expansion of Table 3 above. So 3.4, overview of strategies to address areas of underperformance. So this is what I was talking about earlier on. So they indicate how they are going to deal with those issues, where the areas that they've underperformed. Section 4, it's an overview of performance of entities supporting the work of the department. Here now we reflect, we zoom into the entities, Water Research Commission. There are not really issues there. It's performing well. And the audit outcome, it's unqualified with findings, and they've indicated the areas where they underperformed and how they are going to deal with that. And TCTA, also we show the legislation around it, and as well as how it operates and so on. But in terms of performance, it has also performed well because it has received unqualified audit opinion, with findings mainly the issues around the reporting standards, that there is this conflict between the GRAP and the IFS accounting standards. So that is an issue which they are still dealing with, and we hope it will fall away once the agency come into being. And then the catchment management agencies. The department in this regard managed to incubate a number of CMAs, and then in that process there were a lot of issues that were identified, but we see from the old ones which have been in existence, they have performed very well compared to the others. But mainly the poor performance in this regard relates to the issues around financial management as well as procurement issues, and also the issue around the downtime that happened during the year around the IT reporting systems. So in this case, Bokma received a clean audit. Nkomati Usutu received unqualified audit opinion. Limpopo Olifants Catchment Management Agency received a disclaimer. So the reasons for disclaimer are provided there as well. And Pongola received a disclaimer. Zimbubu received a disclaimer. Val Orange also received a disclaimer, and the causes are the same around these issues. And that brings us to the end of the report with observations and recommendations. And here we summarize the deliberations as members were discussing. And of importance here is just to indicate that the committee notes a comprehensive audit action plan which the department has developed to address those areas that were identified. And they've already started implementing some of this when we look at the first quarter of 2025, 2026. So you can see that there is some work which they are doing around this audit action plan. And also the report around the innovations from the Water Research Commission, where members would remember that there was a time when we were receiving, I think we're dealing with the budget, members requested that perhaps we need a report on some of the key innovations that they are doing as an entity, and the commercialization report. So those were submitted. So members, if they look at the package that was tabled, then you would see that there are those reports there, and also a report on employees that are not South African appointed across the department, and there is a report to that effect. So that is the, insofar as some of the supporting documents to this annual reports as they were tabled. And in terms of recommendations, we have grouped the recommendations under key headings relating to the issue that was raised. And the first one is 5.11, which relates to improve performance indicator design. This was an issue because, as you would remember, that the DG refers to this as they were ambitious in terms of designing the targets, and that led to some findings insofar as audit is concerned, because they were found to be not smart. They were not meeting the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound standards as it is supposed to be. And that the committee recommends that they should revise the design of targets so that they are smart. And then 5.12, strengthen contract and project management. The recommendation is that establish a dedicated and effective internal contract management unit to oversee projects from initiation to completion. So that is insofar as strengthening contract and project management, and then blacklisting of non-compliant contractors. Collaborate with National Treasury to blacklist errant contractors who fail to meet contractual obligations or engage in misconduct. This should be done systematically to deter future non-performance. So this is an issue which members raised, and that is the recommendation that the committee makes. And 5.1.4 enhance procurement controls, and the recommendation here is that address procurement weaknesses by enforcing due diligence, ensuring conflict of interest declarations, and adhere to the requirement for 3 quotations, implement stronger oversight and accountability mechanisms. 5.1.5, accelerate filling of vacancies, continue efforts to reduce vacancy rate, especially in critical technical and engineering roles, to improve service delivery and project execution capacity. So this was an issue, and it was also one of the causes of under expenditure. So mainly it related to filling of vacancies in the department. So 5.1.6, improve support to catchment management agencies, provide constant oversight and capacity building support to CMAs, including performance assessments and compliance audits. Ensure CMAs are adequately resourced to fulfill their mandates. So this relates to the issues around the poor performance in some of the CMAs. So that is the recommendation that relates to that. Publish accountability metrics, and this one, the recommendations that develop and publicly share a case-by-case accountability metrics for irregular, fruitless, wasteful expenditure, including disciplinary actions taken and recovery efforts. So this is one of the issues that the members felt that there is a lack of transparency insofar as the actions are being taken around irregular expenditure, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. So there is a need to have that as in the department. 5.1.8, strengthen socioeconomic risk management. Institutionalize multi-stakeholder task teams in project areas to proactively manage local risks, including business forums, construction, popularly known as construction mafia, disruptions, and community engagement to prevent project delays. So this is an issue which we raised relating to project implementations and so on and so on. And these members have seen firsthand in KwaZulu-Natal, where projects were stopped because of the construction mafia or business forums demanding subcontracts, and the recommendation is that there should be a system to deal with this. And of course, we have seen it has started working, or they have started implementing it in KwaZulu-Natal. Then recommendations to DPME, this one, 5.2.1, legislate enforcement powers. Here we say expedite the drafting and enactment of legislation that grants DPME authority to compel departments and other entities to implement recommendations from oversight reports, including blue and green drop reports. So this relates to the issues where there are poor performances, but DPME, even if they pick it up, they are not able to compel the departments to implement those findings, because they are not legislated to do that. They don't have those powers in legislation. 5.2.3, improve intergovernmental coordination. So this is one of the issues that also members recommended, that there should be a stronger collaboration between department, ESCOM, municipalities, and other stakeholders to resolve infrastructure bottlenecks, such as electricity supply to water treatment plants. This was the case in KwaZulu-Natal at a good enough abstraction point. Kwatwimba package plant, among others, and other key infrastructure projects. So there are projects that are delayed or happen not to perform as they suppose because of lack of electricity supply. So the DPME, we recommend that it should facilitate these collaborations to unblock these projects. 5.2.4, monitor implementation of oversight reports. So ensure that findings from blue, green, and no drop reports are tracked and addressed through structured follow-up mechanisms and biannual reporting to Cabinet. So that is another recommendation to DPME. And recommendation to National Treasury, support infrastructure budget flexibility. Here, the recommendations that allow for more responsive budget adjustments to accommodate project delays and reallocation of funds to progressing projects while maintaining transparency and audit compliance. So this relates to delayed projects, so that instead of just forfeiting that the surplus, it should not be returned. So, but the budget should be flexible to accommodate for some of these things, that delays that are not within the control of the department. 5.3.2, enforce blacklisting of contractors. This is in relation to poor performing contractors. Once the department brings this to the attention of National Treasury, so National Treasury should act accordingly, and also update public register of blacklisted entities, so everyone knows who's blacklisted and so on. 5.33, lead Metro Trading Services Authority oversight. In this case, provide comprehensive briefing to the Committee on Metro Trading Services Program, including its objectives, funding model, implementation status across municipalities. The committee to schedule a meeting on Metro Trading Services Program that is coordinated by National Treasury City Support Program. Support initiatives aimed at arresting ever-increasing municipal water debts, such as the withholding of equitable share. So that is the recommendations to the National Treasury, and that marks the end of the BRRR. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Any member that would like to speak on this report? Honourable Reddy.
Thank you, Chair. I mean, in the light of the comments made by Honourable Kobe, and Honourable, I think it was Sello, that this is being recorded, and so we need to keep things on record. I think, let me just say my bit. The MK Party, we view the BRRR report as being quite vague and using too much of soft language. You know, Chair, a BRRR must connect the public money, that is what money we are currently managing, to real results for the people. And it is one of Parliament's tools that corrects what is broken. It's not here to complement what is failing. So what we find is, number one, if you look at the recommendations, they are vague and they're using soft language. You know, you use words like strengthen, improve, accelerate, but there's no deadlines, there's no accountability, and there's no enforcement. You know, the second one is that there seems to be no link between performance and funding. Money continues to fund water boards, CMAs, and the water trading entity, even when they fail and they get disclaimed audits. It seems like we are providing more money for failures, and this invites more failure. Chair, we are also ignoring the disaster on the ground. You know, we know currently that there is a major crisis in the country, and nobody here can deny it, around water provision. There are communities with zero water security, no sanitation, they're depending on water tankers, and of course there's disease, and there's no urgent implementation plan. It's like, how do we take this plan and this recommendations to communities that are crying out for help and put this plan to them as if it's going to change the situation for them tomorrow? It's certainly not going to, because the recommendations are not responding to real human suffering. Chairperson, consequence management is missing in this recommendations. We have major scandals. We got that New York Marathon issue. We've got the one that was raised by one of the honorable members here, where we were lied to as a committee. There's billions in irregular expenditure. There's no referrals and there's no recoveries. And corruption will continue because nobody seems to be scared of Parliament. Parliament is now just a place where you come and you just entertain us with reports and fancy words. Chairperson, if you look at the water trading entity, there's a structural breakdown, and this is completely ignored in the recommendations. There's qualified audits, there's systems that have gone offline, there's unpaid suppliers, yet we don't find a water trading entity rescue plan that's attached to timelines and specific KPIs. There's a system collapse, and of course, there's a service collapse. Chairperson, finally, the audit findings has been repeated for many years. Without consequences, findings become a to-do list for next year and the next, while people continue to wait for water. The hard truth is that the BRRR report, in its current form, it protects the department and not the people of South Africa, who we see are drinking from buckets and streams and water tankers. And it's for that reason, in its current form, the MK party cannot find itself clear of supporting this report. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ramahila.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning and morning to colleagues. Our Chair want to start at item 1.3, that is table 1. Yes. Item 3 talks about building a capable, ethical, and developmental state. That's the point where I want to start, Chair. But then I want to talk to a comment that says in the opening paragraph there that it is premature to fully assess the department's contribution towards inclusive growth, job creation, and building a capable, ethical, and developmental state. I will partly agree, but I want to tell where I differ with the statement, Chair. I differ with the statement when it comes to, if we could broadly look at the regulation and oversight. I look at the Department of Water and Sanitation's responsibilities to oversee and facilitate the development and implementation of water service development plans for the alignment with national policies and the right to water services. This is mandatory to Department of Water and Sanitation to ensure that water service authorities develop their water service development plans and ensure that these plans are indeed really aligned to national policies, and that part is not covered. And most often than not, we tend to blame municipalities because, and I've asked this question several times, all that I get is a hypothetical response in many instances in as far as this is concerned. Because it's critical for municipalities to have the WSDPs as planning tools. And it's the responsibility of the department to oversee and ensure that municipalities have these plans and they are indeed aligned. But that is not happening. I had asked in one meeting, Chair, and the response that I got was, I wasn't happy with it, but I kept quiet about it. The response was that I asked, do water service authorities have water service development plans? The response I got was that there's nothing they can do if WSAs do not want to approve these WSDPs. That was an irresponsible response on my part, but I'm saying the department has got this responsibility. And ourselves, as the portfolio committee, we have this responsibility to ensure that in the department plays its role in this regard. Of course, and I have said, from WSDPs, you would obviously need, you need to have the 5-year water reliability studies. You need to have implementation-ready studies. And all these things must go into IDPs of the municipalities. And when the municipalities fail, we are going to say it is not the responsibility of the department. So now I'm saying that statement, I agree with it partly, but to the large extent, in as far as planning is concerned, I don't agree with it, and they would have to revisit that part. I fully don't agree with. My next question, Chair, my next part would then come to the water trading entity. In as far as the water trading entity is concerned, regarding irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure which has been reported there. And the use is huge amount, I think it's 96 million. I will verify that. But what they are saying in the report is that to be fast-tracked, to improve financial performance, but also it says, it mentioned SIU subs and internal disciplinary actions. For me, what is missing here is that we need to have an answer whether this has been reported to the police. That's very critical. This must be reported to the police because the amount is huge. It's 96 million. I can verify the amount for you. First, is this case reported to the police? Would want an answer in that regard. Is it reported to the SIU? Want an answer in that regard. Has there been consequence management applied? Want an answer. And if there's applied, can we have the list of officials that are involved in this irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure? That information is not there. And it doesn't cater how consequence management is going to be applied. That is in as far as water trading entity is concerned. In as far as CMAs, that has got the disclaimer is concerned, and we are silent about the recommendations. If you get a disclaimer, it means the AG cannot make an opinion. If the AG cannot make an opinion, it means there's no source documents from which you can at least be able to opine. So you can opine. And if there's no source documents, what then can you suspect corruption? So, and we say nothing about this. I would want us then to put a recommendation again that if there's a disclaimer here, SIU must be involved. That's a recommendation. And we must be told what consequence management is going to be applied. Who are the officially affected in this case? And let's have that report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ditebe.
Chairperson, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me once again greet you and colleagues on the platform and our very capable support staff and everybody on the platform. Chairperson, I've got quite a few issues. Some are new, some are just for purposes of emphasis, while others are just cosmetic issues. I think earlier on in the report, there's reference to Chapter 4 and Section 44. Now, that may very well sound, I think it sounds tautological because Section 44 here refers to Section 44 of Chapter 4 of the Constitution. And I think it's got to be just phrased, for lack of a better word, aesthetically better, because then it should read Chapter 4, in particular Section 44 thereof, because Section 44, this obviously refers to Parliament and the legislative authority of the National Assembly and all that. So it shouldn't, the way it is at the moment, it reads as though these are two different sections of the Constitution, when in fact the one is the whole chapter and the other is a section pertaining to that particular chapter. Now, there's just one other thing. I'm very particular about this one, Chairperson. Sorry, I didn't number that, but there's reference to quality of life, and I think that refers to the role of the department as far as promoting socioeconomic development and so forth. So I think it must read so that it sounds complete: quality of life and well-being. And this is now the role of the department using water as a resource to drive economic growth. So I thought, let me just begin with those. And our very capable content advisor, perhaps if in the report, we could indicate, if somebody reads this report 5 years down the line and they don't know that the bulk of the Exchequer Act of 1975, which was the Exchequer and Audit Act, was replaced subsequently by the PFMA, while some of its provisions, for example, still pertain to Parliament, they wouldn't know. So if you correctly indicate that Exchequer Act of this year, which I think would be 1975 and subsequently replaced by the PFMA. So as somebody who doesn't know the jargon that is used in Parliament wouldn't know how to interpret that, because the way it reads at the moment, it reads as though this is a piece of legislation that exists notwithstanding the existence of, in its own, or rather on its own, notwithstanding the 1999 Public Finance Management Act. And I think, Chairperson, where there is reference to the clean audit for the department, I think a very clear distinction during the presentation by the department was made in respect, for example, of the department having obtained a clean audit while its other entities did not necessarily do that. So I think we must give credit where credit is due, and we are not over-complimenting the department in doing so. I think members quite correctly captured the sentiment. So we must therefore be very clear that where it refers to clean audit, we are referring to the department, and that we do not use the clean audit and unqualified audit opinions with findings in the same line when we refer to the department, as if in terms of the audit outcomes, they have obtained the same results. If our content advisor could refer to that, because when this goes to Parliament, there are other parties that do not necessarily have members on this committee who nonetheless will go and debate, and they will be guided by what we have stated here, Chairperson. Now, Chair, with regard to, there is reference to the SMART principle. I don't have any issues with that. The DG referred to that. But remember, the SMART principle would be but just one of those aspects or methods that's used so that whatever it is that's done is measurable, etc., and that people are not overzealous in setting themselves targets. I'm talking about the department and its entities here. So I think alongside the SMART principle, we must reference the documents that the DPME uses in this regard, the revised strat plans and APPs, which is a set of documents, obviously, that the DPME uses. And as we know, these documents are revised from time to time as and when conditions change, such as when COVID occurred, etc., etc. Now, I think the reference to the socioeconomic risk management is quite correct in terms of inclusion of people and communicating accurately when it comes to de-risking projects in the event of so-called construction mafia, etc. But I think, Chairperson, if we could go back, I'm tempted to use the CPA, that is the Contractor Performance Agreement, which I think wouldn't sit properly under the socioeconomic risk management. Rather, it should be located because this is what Umgeni Utugela uses. Remember, that is basically one of the instruments legally that a contractor is bound by, so that their scope and all the targets and everything, which would fall broadly under construction law. So I think where there is reference to blacklisting, obviously this must not be done in a gung-ho manner or in an overzealous manner. That's a process. But that process, of course, must not take forever. So I think under blacklisting, it is important that regard must be had for meticulous compliance with the Contractor Performance Agreement. Because if you read the Contractor Performance Agreement, it's very clear that all issues pertaining to performance on the part of the contractor, which of course dovetail with the socio-economic inclusion, etc., of people in those particular communities. That is important. Now, when it comes to the equitable share, Chairperson, I think we must we must make sure that that sounds peremptory. In other words, it doesn't come across like a statement that can be appealed or revoked by National Treasury. Honorable Ramaila once mentioned this, that while the committee would have supported the department as an interim measure in invoking Section 216 sub 2 of the Constitution to ensure that National Treasury exercises its power to withhold a portion of the equitable share from some municipalities, we have a situation where some municipalities will negotiate directly with either the minister or National Treasury to say, well, don't touch ours. And we saw it with a number of municipalities. And I know, Chairperson, you will know that I'm very aggrieved in particular by what the municipality that I live in always does, because there are quite a number of very uncomfortable situations where people don't have water, not because bulk supply is not available, but because the municipality owes Val Central almost 9 billion rand and is not committing to any service level agreement and is not paying whatever is due, even in the aftermath of an arbitration that says they must pay 62 million rand instead of the 12 million, which was interim. So on that issue, Chairperson, of the equitable share, I would agree to an extent with Honorable Reddy, that we must not be too general when it comes to certain or some of these particular issues. I think, Chairperson, the issue, while it is not the only municipality that is defaulting, we have heard in KwaZulu-Natal during our oversight visit that 3 municipalities at that time owe Umgeni Utugela in excess of 2 billion rand. Still, that is a lot of money, but for one municipality to owe almost 9 billion rand, which municipality, by the way, has a budget, and when I say a budget, I don't even mean that it's backed by cash, of just about 4 billion rand, and it owes the Val Central as at September 8.5 billion rand, and it's increasing while it owes Eskom. I know it may not be relevant, but you'll see the connection here, over 5 billion rand. And again, Chairperson, it's because as we speak, that same municipality in Machabeng, that is, because of Section 63 that the minister has invoked to fix their wastewater treatment works, the reticulation network, the pump stations, a 12 megaliter wastewater treatment works will not function because that requires an extra 100 million rand. Now, it means Eskom is in the mix because that municipality owes ESCOM another 5 to 6 billion rand. Can you see the connection? So if there's a breakdown at the wastewater treatment works because of lack of electricity supply, we have referenced this in respect of Kwaximba and good enough abstraction works, etc. We see how important electricity is in the grand scheme of things. So I'd like us to say that the withholding of equitable share is non-negotiable, and we must specifically mention all those municipalities that owe huge amounts of money, and reference or refer in general, of course, to those that are still various amounts of money, to the extent, Chairperson, that some of these municipalities nonetheless will experience some water restrictions which affects residents in the end. The other one, Chair, refers to, I'd like to bring up another one, which is the WISIG, ARBIC, and COCTA's MIG. I think we must say here as a recommendation, perhaps as a standalone, that we must recalibrate and optimize WISIG, ARBIC, and COCTA's MIG to ensure synergies and collaborations across the three grants. Why am I saying this, Chairperson? In another portfolio committee, we went to the municipality of Tswaing in the Northwest. People have reticulation network there, but they don't have a budget for bulk. So it means both MIG and ARBIC must come together to ensure that in human settlements, which is also what we are concerned about, that water and sanitation as a function does indeed operate properly. So I think then we must add another point on receiving quarterly reports on, for example, the bucket eradication and wastewater treatment works and water treatment works projects across municipalities, because as Honorable Ramaila said, there will be instances where a project in terms of WISIC would have been unleashed, but we are unable to follow through because we are just given that as a high-level PowerPoint presentation that there is a project of 138 million rand, or as in the case of Machabin, 3.5 billion rand. But we need to know, has there been any stoppage? And indeed, if you go there to some of these projects, you'll find that in the case of Machabin, some 2 months ago, a child drowned in one of the pits where a trench was dug for the manhole, and Department of Employment and Labor had to intervene, and there was restriction, and then the revocation of the permit for the contractor to not go ahead and work. And what that does do is that it impacts the 3.5 billion rand, which this committee does oversight on, which the department has made available to that particular municipality. And there will be many other such cases, and sometimes it's a poor or substandard work. So, Chairperson, I think those are the points that I thought I should raise in this meeting so that the report is complete. And lastly, Chairperson, I think colleagues must feel free in accordance with the mandates of their parties to say whatever they want to say, but I don't think we must conflate the views of parties at the time of the presentation of this report or tabling of this report in Parliament and the actual wording, although of course we cannot just be dismissive of certain points that colleagues have raised, and out of respect to the extent that they are evidence-based, factual, we must take them on board. But, a report is a report and a debate is a debate. And so, Chairperson, that's what I would say. If necessary, then I will come back. But I hope our content advisor has captured those particular ones. Chair, I think the last one, remember that the president has intervened in respect of eThekwini and Johannesburg. And I think if I've missed that, you will correct me. There must be reference to that because we've been to eThekwini and to Johannesburg, particularly because of the urgency of that particular intervention. As we know, it's led by the Deputy President. And I think we need to highlight that, because if you go to eThekwini, say maybe Johannesburg, you will know that there are quite a number of upgrades of the reservoirs and pipelines and so forth. Same with eThekwini. So those must specifically stand out so that they form part of our monitoring of the implementation of those projects, so that we can say this is project success. And need I emphasize that the engineers must also learn construction law, and we all do try to understand some of these issues, which we are not experts in, but it becomes important so that issues such as the contractor performance agreement and other related issues, they do not only concern themselves with engineering matters, but also with matters that pertain to the law, because that's the area they operate in. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Any other member that would like to speak on this report? Honourable Moore.
Thank you, Chair. I'm actually largely satisfied with the report. I think the key recommendations are 5.1.1 and 5.1.2. Obviously, contract management is and our projects are a constant bane in the existence, because we have huge problems across a lot of the areas there. And 5.1.1 is critical because this report is not really achieving what we are looking for. So we need to get that fixed. But otherwise, whilst I understand no single report can cover every request, every element of all of the members, because we all have different priorities, I think this captures the gist of what was covered. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are everybody satisfied that Tumani can take up the additional recommendations or suggestions within the recommendations? It seems nobody's got an objection against that. Tumani, that you capture everything, would you take that up in the report?
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, honourable members, for the constructive inputs. Yes, we will take them and strengthen the recommendations, and the gaps identified it will be closed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and be a little bit more harsh on the not kissing the department on this matters. Colleagues, can I then ask that we then go to the next point on the agenda? We will come back to this report to give Tumani the opportunity to make these recommendations or the changes in the recommendations, and then we can approve. Before we close the meeting, we can then just look at the changes made. Tumani, if you can maybe just highlight them in another color so that we can quickly go through them and just see everything is captured, and then approve the report. Can I now ask that we flight the minutes? To give Tumani the opportunity to quickly look at this BRRR report. Nosipho? Alan, thank you. All right, let's look at the minutes of the 20. Can you maybe... Talent, can you put this into a slide mode? Is it possible?
I don't think it's possible, Chair. I'm sharing one word, but let me just try. No.
Okay, if you can't, the minutes of the 24th of July, page 1. can you just scroll through, please? Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5, but that page 4, and that's the end of the report. Can I get a proposer that we accept this minutes?
I move for the minutes, Chair, for the adoption. Thank you.
Can I get a seconder?
I second, Chair.
I second.
Thank you very much. Can we go to the next one? Helen, can you go to the next one, please? 2nd of September, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. And then page 6. Can I get someone to propose?
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you for
I
that.
second, Chair. I will
Second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Next one. September 9, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. And that's the end of the report. Someone that wants to move?
Chair, I
Chair,
propose.
I move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Seconder?
Then I'll second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Next one. September 16, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. And then page 7. Can I have a mover?
Chair, move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. Seconder?
I second, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next one. 19 September, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Can I have a mover?
Chair, move for the adoption once again for the minutes.
Thank you. Seconder?
I second, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one. 21 October, page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. And page 7. Page 8. Can I get a mover?
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconder?
Chair, I'll second happily. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was the evening meeting. Anything else? Nothing. That's all of it for now. Tamani? How far are you with the...
Chairperson, I've got a suggestion. I have done the one mainly relating to the integration of the grants. That is the RBIG, WISIG, and MIG in terms of to review and align the conditions for these grants so that they accelerate delivery of water services. But in terms of the other small issues that I need to fix, like the details on legislation, reference to the framework for managing program performance, and those type of issues, I will propose that we take a principal position that I put those in, and that is the condition that. Once I put those in, then we can circulate the report, and then through your office, Chairperson, then you can let us know that, okay, it's all right, then we can send it for ATC. But of course...
How long, Tumani, how long time do you need for this to finish?
To finish this, I will need perhaps maybe an hour or so, but remember there is also an oversight report that we need to do, and I see members, they are conflating the two reports because there are issues pertaining to that oversight report, and some of them I see them reappearing on this one. So I think I will need an hour after this meeting, then I can do that.
Colleagues, what is your feeling on the proposal that we change that and put that on the WhatsApp group? Honorable Ditebe?
Agreed, Chairperson. We did it in the past. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Moore?
Agreed, Chairperson. There's quite some extensive stuff being added, so give us a moment to go through it all, but support it.
Okay.
And
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, honourable members. Colleagues, can I then ask that we quickly go to the oversight report, deal with that report, because if we can't apply for overseas trip if this report is not ATC. So it is important for us as well to make sure that we hand in this report at the Speaker's office. Tumani, can you then maybe do that now for us?
Definitely. Okay. Thank you, Chairperson. Are you seeing the report?
I see the report. Can we deal with the report the same way we dealt with the other report? Is members happy with that?
Happy with the approach, Chair. Thank you.
You can continue then, Honourable Tumani.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. This is the draft report of the oversight that we conducted a few weeks ago. Then the first page deals with the background, just locating the rationality around the oversight visits that is in relation to the strategic plan, APP, and the oversight priority plans. So that is the general information. And this oversight, we conducted it between the 6th and the 10th of October 2025. And the objectives of the oversight program, those are the three objectives, but in the main, of course, we wanted to assess the challenges as well as the interventions towards those challenges, and also to see firsthand the infrastructure development projects that are being conducted across these two provinces, mainly focusing on the eThekwini as well as city of Johannesburg, and also to appraise members on the presidential working group water and sanitation work stream. So those were the issues, and also to orientate members around the Umgeni Uthukela Water Board, as well as the Rand Water Board projects in their jurisdictions. Right. Then Section 3 this is the pre-briefing committee meeting that we held just before we started with our oversight in KwaZulu-Natal. This was as a result of the absence of the chairperson who was booked off. And subsequently in that meeting, the committee nominated Honorable Ditewe, who accepted the nomination and continued to lead the oversight program in KwaZulu-Natal as the acting chairperson. And then Section 4 deals with the multi-party delegation. Those are the members who were part of the oversight and the supporting the committee support staff. And of course, we had a couple of delegates and other members from the entities and the department as well, and, including municipalities. But there are registers that will accompany this report when it's tabled. Right, Part A, we have divided the report in two parts. Part A deals with KwaZulu-Natal, part of the oversight, and Part B deals with the oversight in Gauteng. And firstly, the first part started with 5.1, where we met the board members of the Umngeni Uthukela, which were led by Advocate Vusi Kuzwayo, Senior Counsel, who's the chairperson of that board. And he introduced the members of that board and also tabled the apology of the CEO, who was absent at that meeting. And we have got a register to accompany that. And of course, introduced the Umngeni Uthukela Water Board in terms of its establishment and where it is at currently. So that is insofar as the first part is concerned. And then that was followed by the presentation of the 5-year infrastructure plan of that entity. And here I would like to take members' attention to Table 1. That infrastructure plan is divided into 3 parts. And the first part is the Northern Eastern Regional Cluster infrastructure projects. And these are the projects that infrastructure plan outlined that are being done in that cluster of the northeastern part of the KwaZulu-Natal. And the total project cost of those projects is 2.5 billion. And of that amount, 1.9 billion will be funded through tariffs, as it is indicated on that table. And then the second cluster is the central regional cluster, which includes Umgungundlovu district, Msunduzi, eThekwini Metro, and the Ilembe district. And the total cost for that is the biggest, I think, insofar as infrastructure development is concerned, because it includes projects like the Lower Mkomazi, which the members have seen, Upper Mkomazi, which the members received the presentation, and the total cost for that cluster is 21.9 billion. And 9.7 billion will come from the raised from the tariffs. So it also shows the stages at which these projects are at, and you can see Lower Mkomazi, it's at design. Some of its parts are designed, while the other phases are under construction. So that is insofar as that cluster is concerned. And then the last cluster is the Southern Regional Cluster, which is include the Ugu and Herigwala district municipalities. And this one, the total cost is 5.2 billion, and 2.6 billion will come from will be raised from tariffs in the years to come. So it's also worth noting that the Umngeni Uthukela Water has no presence currently in the Northwest Regional Cluster. So that is the areas around Uthukela District, Umzinyati, Amajuba, as well as Newcastle. but there are plans that they want to cover this part of the province. That brings us to the 5.3 briefing and the site visit at the Davil wastewater treatment works. This one relates to the upgrade that was done there. So members walked through this plant and observed some of the work that has been done there. And things to note here is the issues around the water reclamation plant, the 2 megaliter water reclamation plant, where the wastewater, when it's treated, then it goes to this water purification plant, and then the water is treated to a drinking quality standard. So that is one of the key issues to take away, as well as the plans around converting gas to electricity. So that is the methane that is generated from the digesters that members have seen. That brings us now to 5.4 briefing on Upper Umkomazi bulk water project. This was done in 2 parts. The one from Umgen Water, which deals with the part that deals with the potable water and the construction of the water treatment plant in the upper part. So to get water from that is the dam when it's constructed through this project, the dam which will be built by the TCTA. So that is insofar as the time frames. It's worth noting that there has been delays here on this project, but insofar as stages are concerned, those are the stages that it will go through, and the completion, of course, it's earmarked around 2032. So that is still way ahead of time. And the other part of this project is under TCTA, which is called Umkomazi Water Project Phase 1. So that is in the part that deals with the construction of the actual dam. And in terms of milestone and timeframes, the issue around the blended finance infrastructure or the funding milestone relating to the funding of this project, it was secured around April 2023, and the amount there is around 12 billion, which is equally divided between one part of it is a grant and the other it's interest-free loan. And the financial close is targeted around March 2027. That is when everything relating to finance will be finalized and the project could start with the construction. And the timelines for this project, you can see it received environmental authorizations in 2013, and that is an issue because, of course, it needs to be updated now because these authorizations have got timeframes. And also the water delivery or the commissioning of the project is around March 2032. So that is in relation to, it's also in line with what Umgen will be doing on the other part of this project. So that is insofar as Upper Umkomazi is concerned. And site visit to KwaXimba package plant, immediately after that briefings and the site visit at Davia, members went through to a package plant where they observed this package plant is being powered by a generator. There's no electricity. And the size of that package plant is 7 megaliters per day. So that is the size of the package plant in KwaXimba, and it's providing water to a number of communities or villages around this area in KwaXimba. And then on-site deliberations, the members discussed a number of things, but also these deliberations relates to the discussions that took place immediately after the presentations at the first site at Davil, where members were concerned, raised their concern around the absence of the chief executive officer of Umgeni, as well as the issue around the sponsorship of the New York Marathon, and the issues relating to the 5-year infrastructure plan. So those are, in summary, the issues that the members raised, and also concerned around the issue of the non-revenue water that continues to challenge, in fact, the implementation of the infrastructure plan. That if those issues around non-revenue water are not addressed, then it will be wasteful, in fact, to have all these projects, but only to lose the water at the tail end. So those were some of the issues that members raised, and then they appreciated the high quality work that has been done at that plant, as well as the issues around the biogas to electricity conversion. So members were really impressed by the quality of work and the innovations around this plant, and recommended that it should be perhaps something that should be adopted across the country. And 5.6, site visit to Lower Nkomazi water supply project. That is, we went to construction of the good enough abstraction point and Kwadini Dam. So this really were some of the good work that Umgeni is doing in that part of the province. And there the members went through and they've seen the parts of good enough abstraction point is already complete. It has started working, but they are still finalizing there and there. But the actual point is it's almost complete now, because they can start also blocking water and so on. So that is something that the members observed in that, and also the issue of the electricity supply to this abstraction point is still a concern due to the issues of the sensitive ecosystems that is in relation to the special framework of the eThekwini municipality. So it's preventing the installation of the power lines that should deliver electricity to this plant. So that is an issue which we learned from this point, and also with the presentation there, just provide the description of what it is, the makeup of that plant, and then we went to the Kwadini Dam, which is also one of the dams that will be built off the channel to store water to be released during low flows. So in other words, in winter, when there's low flow, then the water will be discharged from this dam for abstraction downstream. And members made a number of observations relating to the excellent progress and high quality work, and also the issue of interference by business forums and project stoppages. And also in this, there was this issue of tragic death of Councillor Mr. Mlife and 2 security guards, which were killed in relation to issues around subcontracting and projects and so on. So that is the issues that we have learned from that oversight. And then members discussed the issue around social facilitation and local business subcontracting. And then we learned that due to these issues, then they had to be innovative and come up with a contractor participation board, which really deals with the inclusion or involvement of local contractors in the project to deal with some of these interferences. And then the other issue that was deliberated upon is the lack of power electricity supply in the project area, which I've already discussed up. Skills development, and we learned that through these projects, the general labor, which constituted of youth and women, they are trained for other things like bricklaying, safety, driving, firefighting, and so on, and they end up with these skills when the project is complete, and they get absorbed in other areas as well. So that is insofar as skills development is concerned, and the young engineers are also given an opportunity to qualify as professional engineers. Then there was an issue around pending court case, which has now obstructed the construction of the water treatment plant, which is part of the Lower Umkomazi project. And that is, there's a court case currently going on in that regard. Then the issue around municipal debt relation to the Utukela, Umgeni, and Ugu district, which is one of the beneficiaries of this project. At that point, it was reported that it was owing 510 million to Umgeni Utukela, so that was raised as a concern. And at the end, the acting chairperson concluded with that statement, which really was just an appreciation of the good work that the Umgen Water is doing in that area, and which is a good initiative towards the local economic development and the development of the province in general. Right? And 5.7, a site visit to Hazelmere Dam. Here, the members observed the upgrade that was done there on the spillway, the popular piano key type of spillway, which members have seen, and we were told that it has won awards. This innovation, engineering innovation, has won awards, as indicated there, and went on to eThekwini Metro. We received a briefing there, and this one, I think it's important now also to remind members that this is the day that the councillor or the mayor of eThekwini, as well as MNC city manager, they were not there, and the members did not take this lightly. They were very concerned that obviously these leaders are not perhaps taking seriously the challenges that faces this area insofar as water is concerned. So, and members here resolved to summon the Metro leadership to Parliament, and we have got a resolution in this regard at the end of the report, which also compels this leadership to come and brief the committee in terms of the plans that they are doing to address the water crisis in that part of the world. And then we received a briefing by the department on presidential eThekwini working group, and that is the summary of that, what it involves and so on towards the addressing of the water crisis in eThekwini. And then we went on to visit the Northern Wastewater Treatment Works. This plant was affected by the floods in 2022, and they caused a great damage. And the work is still underway in terms of rehabilitating that plant as well as upgrading some parts of it. And that is what members observed, that the work was really going on, and there are a lot of issues that members raised with regard to that upgrade. But nevertheless, the work is progressing very well in that plant. Then we went on to view the Southern Aqueducts Package 4. Those are those big pipelines that we went to just before we went to the Durban Heights water treatment plant. So the members went through, and then they've seen firsthand installation of these big pipelines. So here they are replacing the concrete pipelines with the steel ones. And these pipes takes water from the Durban Heights to areas like Umlazi, Folweni, Chalcross, and Clarvater. So those are some of the areas that the work is continuing very well there. Then we went to Durban Heights Water Treatment Works, and this is a national key point and it's one of the biggest water treatment works operated by Umgenu Tukela. And members went through and they learned a lot around this plant. And so there were no real issues there, but just impressed by the type of work that is going on there and the type of the dam that is there. But we could not visit the telemetry or SCADA systems because of time constraints, as we had to rush to move to Gauteng. That marks the end of the Gauteng, of the KwaZulu-Natal oversight part. Then I will move on now to part B, Gauteng province. And then this one started at the city of Johannesburg, where we received the purpose of the briefing, and here the chairperson joined us on this part of the leg of the oversight. And we started with the purpose of the briefing and opening remarks. And what is important here is to note the statement which chairperson highlighted there, that if Joburg fails, South Africa fails. And that is the reason the committee is very concerned with the well-being of the city of Johannesburg. So that is summarizes, in fact, the significance of that oversight in that part of the world. And then we received a presentation on Johannesburg water strategy, which outlined how they intend to deal with the water crisis in Johannesburg. And that is how it is. It went, and members read.
Yes, Commissar. Yes.
Can you maybe mute Honourable Reddy?
Thank you. Thank you for that. And then we moved on and received a presentation on the Presidential Johannesburg Working Group, which also it complements the Johannesburg turnaround strategy to address water crisis in Johannesburg. So that there was great alignment, and also it shows the issues around the funding and the governance reforms that needs to be done there. But of importance now is to note the presentation around the sweeping account, because there was heated debate around this as the committee and the city officials were not finding each other in terms around the mechanisms around the sweeping account. And they made a presentation which highlighted the account structure and purpose of this account and core processes that the account is operated and how it operates, controls and oversight around it, and that it's managed within the group treasury in the city of Johannesburg. So in other words, that's why it's called the sweeping account, because it sweeps everywhere to this centralized treasury. And there were issues that members wanted clarity on, and then the issue of the 4 billion that remains a mystery even today. So it's something that there will still be a follow-up around the clarity in that amount. But the city was adamant that the money is not lost, it's there, and so on and so forth. But that now brings us to the questions following that. The questions were around the issues around water tanker corruption. Members wanted to know the investigation that are going on around there. And then the city indicated that they are insourcing the water tankering because they want to deal with the issue of corruption around this. And currently they've got 40 tankers, and they intend to buy 20 more so that to bring the number to 20 to 60. And then there were questions around ring fencing and equitable share. And that is the question there. And then the issue around pipe replacement targets, which members felt that they were below standard, and the issue around below targets is because of the budget constraints as the city indicated. And then the issue around the sweeping account the clarity around that, and this was followed by that presentation. So in other words, the presentation was triggered because of this. It appears the city did not want to make that presentation, but because of this question, then they had to make that presentation. And then the issue around contractor payments, the city indicated constraints around the issue of cash and the issue of centralizing funds, which is also delaying some of the payments to contractors. And they indicated that, but even that is, although that is the case, but Johannesburg Water contractors are somehow prioritized. So that is the response to that question. And the issue around engineering capacity, the number of registered engineers, they gave the details there insofar as that engineering capacity is concerned. And the issue around prepaid meters, non-revenue water, they indicated the plans there and what they need to do to address that issue. Meter reading coverage, they indicated that they are currently covering around 92%, and they've got internal staff, which sometimes is complemented by external service providers to do the meter reading and so on. And revenue collection strategy, they indicated that currently their current collection rate is around 89%. And the questions around maintenance budget, and they indicated how far they are insofar as the maintenance is concerned. Infrastructure and service delivery concerns, there were issues around water supply to some of the areas in Soweto, in particular Dalingewo, a senior secondary school. And in this case, the mayor indicated or undertook to personally attend to one of the incidences that the committee raised, that he will follow up and try to resolve that issue. And then insofar as site visits, the site visits here were straightforward and brief. We went to Brixton Reservoir and Tower and Crosby Reservoir, which were under construction, and members went through and they looked at the progress, and the progress was very well. Brixton Reservoir and Tower is almost complete as well. So the work was progressing very well. And then lastly, we went to Central Basin Acid Mine Drainage Plant in Germiston. This is operated by TCTA, and members here walked around the plant, and it rained, so we had to take cover as we were going through the plant. So we have seen firsthand what acid mine drainage plant looks like and how it operates. So that marks the end of the oversight visits insofar as Joburg area is concerned. Then we went to the Randwater and we met at the Stoikerbos Academy, and the Randwater presented their 5-year CAPEX infrastructure plan. It took the same format as that of the Umgeni, and in that then they provided the organizational overview of that plan and the supply area and infrastructure, and they indicated that they are covering almost 18 million people across Gauteng, Mpumalanga, Free State, and Northwest provinces. So that is how large their area is, or their area of supply. And the other issues that the infrastructure plan dealt with is around demand and capacity planning, which indicates the issues that they are continuing to deal with. Capital expenditure, the CAPEX plan outlined a big plan over 5 years, which stood at a budget of around 26.6 billion, encompassing around 86 projects that are currently underway. we went through, of course, we'll see when we go to the site visits under these projects. Then the plan covers also issues around maintenance and repairs. And then the Section 63 intervention currently taking place at Emfuleni, where they are trying to assist the Emfuleni to restore its water services. And then the issues around challenges relating to water use license and other environmental approvals. And some of the challenges that they highlighted is the aging infrastructure, high non-revenue water across the supply systems, and financial mismanagement in municipalities, and of course issues of pollution into the Val River, which subsequently goes to the Val Dam. And then they reflected on strategic solutions, which is really an innovative way of dealing with support to municipalities. This is the special vehicle concept that the Rainwater is currently doing at Emfuleni local municipality. Then the members went through the Soikerbos station 5A. It's called the station 5A. That is part of the water purification plant. So we went through, we learned a lot about the processes, and we started from one of the dosing plants where they showed us how they do dosing and so on and so forth. So members have seen firsthand the demonstration of the processes there. And then we, at this point, I think it's also important to note that we members there resolved that because there is that training which we need to do with the WISA sometime in January next year, and we decided that perhaps it will be prudent to hold this, to have the training there at that academy, so that members, if there are opportunities for demonstrations around water treatment processes, then we will use the plant that is currently there in that plant. And that brings us now to the deliberations. And there we have got a summary of deliberations following the presentation, because here there was not much talk, because it was just a clear presentation of the plan and of course the site visits that we wanted to see, the Soikerbos purification plant. And that now brings us to the overall resolutions, and here we have categorized them into two. So it will be resolutions relating to Gauteng province. Then we have got resolutions relating to the oversight in KwaZulu-Natal. And resolution 19.1, the committee resolved that City of Johannesburg should provide a report by the 16th October 2025 on contractor payments. The committee resolved to invite National Treasury Auditor General to engage on the City of Johannesburg sweeping account and the 4 billion rand transfer from Johannesburg Water. The City of Johannesburg will be required to present the current bank statement at this meeting to prove availability of funds. 9.3, the committee resolved to host its January 2026 water governance and water treatment training program at the Rainwater Soikerbos Training Academy to take advantage of the water treatment works that will form part of the training curriculum. The Water Institute of Southern Africa will facilitate the training. Resolutions to KwaZulu-Natal oversight relating to KwaZulu-Natal oversight. 9.4, Umgeni Tukela Water to provide a written report on the New York Marathon sponsorship, including the sponsorship policy that the CEO used to approve the application by the 31st October 2025. The department, together with TCTA, should engage the Ingonyama Trust in consultation with the Department of Rural Development, Land Reform, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs to secure access to land and ensure broad support for the development of water infrastructure projects on Ingonyama Trust-owned land. The department should provide a report to the committee in the first quarter of parliamentary term, that is between January and March 2026. So this in relation to unblocking the issues around access to land that have delayed the Upper Umkomazi water project. So that is some work that they need to do there. 9.6, the committee expressed critical concern regarding recent indications of governance breakdown at Umgeni Utukela Water. The committee further noted that the minister intends to initiate an investigation into the governance issues that have arisen over the past month. The committee urged the minister to expedite the process to safeguard the water utility integrity and credibility, which are critical as it pursues external funding for major infrastructure projects reliant on maintaining a positive credit rating. The department should submit a comprehensive report to the committee during the first quarter of parliamentary term, January to March 2026. So this is in relation to the observation that members made with regard to governance in the Utukela Umgeni. 9.7, the committee resolved to summon the eThekwini Metro leadership, the mayor, Mr. Siret Naba, and the city manager to a fiscal meeting at Parliament in Cape Town to brief the committee on city's plans to resolve water services crisis in eThekwini. The chairperson will decide on the date of the meeting after consideration of the parliamentary program. So that is the end of the oversight report, members and chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, members. That is the oversight report. Honourable Reddy.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I think if you'll allow me, I won't put my camera on because there seems to be an issue with connectivity. Let me firstly welcome the oversight conducted and also thank the officials for having prepared and managed the oversight for us as members. However, I have to make this point, and I think all members are in agreement of this, is that the time allocated is very limited and the number of sites we visit are far too many. It crams the entire program to such an extent that we do not really do justice to the entities we are visiting. Chairperson, Parliament has planned a number of oversight visits during the course of the year for committees. It is important that we should be requesting permission early in advance to conduct further oversight visits over a greater period of time to allow us the opportunity to be able to engage at a deeper level. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about even meetings with communities, where taking Parliament to communities, to the people, it actually means that committees, which are the engine room of Parliament, should actually be going out and meeting communities and understanding what their issues are. South Africa is not just Umgeni, Utukela, or Rand water. South Africa also consists of Lepelele water, Amatola water. There's a host of other water boards that we have not yet covered. You've got thousands of municipalities, and you've got communities which I will call, angry communities. Perhaps what we should do, Chairperson, is get a list of all the hotspot areas, identify who are the councillors and other community people there that are championing the issues of water, and let's go and visit them. That is where we should be engaging on. But Chair, I think in terms of the report, let me thank the officials, but I want to say that the recommendations that's presented here, it doesn't talk to rescuing a collapsing water system. You know, what has happened in the week that we went out? We saw governance failures. We saw criminal interference. We saw municipal debt that has threatened water sustainability. We've also seen mega projects that's delayed going into the next decade. Yet, I don't see a single enforcement mechanism, not a single sanction, and not a single deadline that compels those responsible to change. Now, I've not seen, for example, we've got there a report that's going to come from the Umgeni Utukela Water Board about the corruption regarding the New York Marathon scandal. That's coming on the 31st. Are we going to follow this up, that if we don't get a report, that there will be some sort of sanction that can be applied? There has to be urgent interventions, because while we are delaying in dealing with what we've seen, I'm afraid that officials out there that are responsible, the crooked ones, they have more time to continue doing all their wrong deeds. Chair, where municipalities, where we've seen in this oversight visit, they are owing hundreds of millions of rands, we don't see a clear plan. There's no clear treasury condition, no consequence, and no timelines. My colleagues on the committee, what we need to avoid is starting a paper shield that protects failure. And you must never ever do that. The thing that was correctly captured in the report was the fact that the mayor of one of the largest metros in the country, Durban, he was absent. He showed scant regard for this visit. And we said that he's going to be summoned to a meeting in Cape Town. Let's make sure we follow this up, and this is not left till too late, because we have a lot of burning questions that he needs to answer in eThekwini. So, Chair, as a conclusion, what we need to start seeing in all our reports, whether it is oversight or any report, and we need to, as a committee, start to ensure that this is in enforcement deadlines for every recommendation. There must be a time frame that we put to it, and we also must see that the conditional grants, it's linked to debt repayment and non-revenue water reductions. If a municipality is unable to reduce water after they are taking billions of rands to do it, they're unable to demonstrate a reduction in non-revenue water, then we need to ensure that these monies are stopped and they are held accountable. Chair, what we also need as a final point is that we need to get monthly reports as a committee on all these mega projects. The annual reports is not going to help us any longer. Think about the Lesotho Highlands project. Think about the Umkomazi scheme, Lower Umkomazi scheme. All these projects, once we get monthly or monthly progress reports, we will be able to identify where the red flags are early and what interventions are necessary timelessly, so that there cannot be, at the end of that period, the year, unnecessary delays on key critical projects. So Chair, as a committee, we need to support accountability, and our oversight must be real, it must be tangible, and it's for that reason that I'm proposing that as a committee, especially involved in water, that we should be engaging in far more oversight visits. That just a 1 week visit on these two provinces is simply not enough. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honourable Ditebe.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me start with the soft ones. I know that the two words almost sound like, homonyms, or sound like they are they sound like they are the same, but just a small one. I think it's 5. Okay, at the beginning, before 5.2, I'll come to that. Members are being apprised and not being appraised, because there you determine the quality of something if you appraise. So if you apprise, you are updating us, you are telling us about something. So it should be apprise, not appraise. And then Umgeni Tugela 5.2, you just remove the hyphen because it's Umgeni Tugela 5 years. So it must not be Umgeni Tugela 5 and then hyphen. So those are just soft issues. But let me then get to the more substantive issues, Chair. I think it's important to mention that at Dove, which is one of the very successful wastewater treatment works, and water reclamation is taking place as mentioned there, that the works are basically challenged by industrial chemicals from nearby factories. And we saw, even with the clarifier, how difficult that was because it had to distill all the chemicals from the water so that then it could further be deposited into the stream. But there was also an issue of a very productive use of the sludge, which is being used as compost for the turf grass. And we saw that from where we were. And I think that must be mentioned. And this is obviously in the context of a circular economy. In Kwaklimba, Chair, yes, all the facts are correct. And just one small addition, that it is situated along Umsunduzi River, which is highly contaminated, thereby toxic, and the package plant is not abstracting from Umsunduzi, which therefore requires the restoration of the health of that river. I think that point must be made, because we are a water scarce country and we cannot afford to have raw water wherever it exists to be so highly contaminated that notwithstanding the fact that nearby facilities like the Kwaklimba one is unable to tap into a natural stream like a river, etc. Now, with regards to the Lower Umkomazi water supply schemes, I think the wording there, Chairperson, if we use business forums and then construction mafia in brackets, whoever reads this report, when they get to page 18, where reference is made to the Durban business entities, etc., in the context of the presidential eThekwini water program, will be confused, because if you use business forums, and I do understand in our context, people call themselves business forums, but in essence, there would be some construction mafia, etc., demanding 30%. So I think we must just limit it to construction mafia and not put in place, yes, construction mafia, and not term it a business forum, because then if you go, as I say, to the PEWG, sorry, no, not the eThekwini water project, that the presidential one, right? People can be excused for thinking that we are talking about the same thing. Chair, the other one in Gauteng, it is important first and foremost to state that with, I think it's Station 5A, that its conclusion, remember that's a 5 billion rand project on site. Its conclusion in effect will mean that that whole 3,800 megaliters being treated there of water, and that's all, it's not water that's reclaimed, it's all surface water and water that comes from Lesotho, etc., that it will be the largest in the world. That's what they said, just in one area, because elsewhere in the world it's in different areas, etc., and put together, of course, they might be bigger than our own, but our own is the biggest. And perhaps to say that the Rand water supplies, the three metros, Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg, and Tshwane, account for 77% of water that Rand water supplies to the three municipalities, the three metros, and that Johannesburg, I think, alone accounts for over 36%. They gave us those numbers. So
unknown caller.
Brixton 2 chairperson pump station, I think it is being upgraded. It was last built, I think, in 1946. The content advisor can just get the facts right there. And because of it having aged extremely, whatever you do, it's only able to produce, to give you 40% output. So it will then be upgraded to twice its capacity. That's what we were told. So that people, the citizens of Johannesburg have a sense of what infrastructure is available. The rest of the other details have been well articulated. And lastly, Chairperson, the AMD one, acid mine drainage, that project, which is operated by TCTA out in Germiston, it is important to underscore the fact that it has the similar features to desalination, because they distill, in this case, salt from metal, because of it being water from the mines, and that indeed, that is one very good project which can be replicated elsewhere where there are mines across the country. So I would say, Chairperson, that those are the issues that I have with regards to this particular report. But I must say that it's a very well detailed report, and it covers virtually everything that we spoke about while there in Durban and in Johannesburg. The last point, Chairperson, with regards to both Umgeni, Utugela, and Randwater, is actually their very excellent program, their graduate program, which trains young technicians, engineers, etc. And from the presentation, we saw very young, competent people who, if it were not for affirmative action, would not really be where they are placed at the moment. And it's not only on account of being historically disadvantaged, but they've acquired a lot of technical skills, and that encourages us, especially young women, etc. The last one with regards to Randwater, it was quite encouraging. I couldn't believe it, that they have a foundation and that every year they allocate 100 million rand towards corporate social investment, something that we think other water boards should copy. That's why we must emphasize the significance of the water service authorities paying their accounts so that these water boards can be liquid, have a healthy cash flow, and grow their balance sheet broadly, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honourable Moore?
Chair, I think I'm concerned we're going to be looking to add a significant amount of information to this report. As it stands, it's pretty good. I don't mind correcting minor issues, but we should also be cautious. Despite Randwater's claims, even if the Station 5B is completed, or 5A Part 2, whatever you want to call it, it will not be the largest water treatment works in the world. It will not be in any shape or form. Chicago has the largest in the world, or Egypt, Cairo, I think. So let's not include that in our report. Doesn't matter what Randwater says. And I'd also like to caution against us including political language in here. Let's try and leave this as careful as possible, because the intention here is to get the report out on what we've learned so that we can do additional oversight. And I think that's something that the Honourable already highlighted. We need to do more oversight. If we start to put too much into this report that can be controversial and cause delays, it can cause problems for us to to future oversight, as we'll have to delay releasing the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, anybody else that would like to speak on this report? I don't see. I see Honorable Ditebe.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson. We are talking about the plant in Sekelbosch being the biggest in the world in the context of it being on one land surface area. I did say that there are those where there would be different packages spread across, not on one, in one area or in one place. That was the context. So it wasn't necessarily meant to misstate the facts. But Chair, with regards to this, we've got legislation in this country like Employment Equity Act, etc. Our Constitution speaks about recognizing injustices of the past and healing our land, pursuing in its preamble the Constitution that is social justice, fundamental human rights. That is the language of the Constitution. And I think to the extent that state organs accord with the letter and spirit of our Constitution, we must commend them in the same way that we must raise alarm if they deviate from it. That is the Constitution, letter and spirit of it, that is, and whatever legislation that emanates from the Constitution, as the Constitution itself would always say. And after all, this is the unique nature of the South African resolution of a very difficult process. We did not go the same route as other countries. If you look at what's being imposed on other countries elsewhere in the Middle East, etc., we resolved it ourselves. That's why it has our own context. The language and everything, it's situated very much in our own context, so we should not be shameful of it. I say this quite cognizant of the fact that if we are very much in defense ourselves with the letter and spirit of the Constitution, we are making strides in building our nation and ensuring social cohesion. So we should not be afraid of stating it. If it is happening, it is happening. And by the way, it should be understood also in the context of shared prosperity, not in an exclusive manner as the Industrial Conciliation Act of 1924, which paved way for job preservation did. It is in this context in this particular context, in the letter and spirit of our Constitution. That's all I'm saying. And I think that must be commended. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I also take note of what you're saying. I also would like just to add to say that I was very much pleased to see young black engineers, qualified, excellent engineers that understands their work. I must say that in a very short space of time, we have created in this country engineers. That one lady, I was astonished in her understanding of water and how she deals with the water, and we've got members here that followed her. They didn't want to walk with us. They walked with her because she. Okay, I won't go.
To be fair,
Honourable Kobe, I won't go further on this.
I thought I was with you, my chair.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. So there were members that said, yes, I've got to follow this lady. Okay, colleagues, I think we understand this. Stephen, the political issues you are mentioning, can you maybe just explain that a little bit clearer, or isn't that really an issue for you?
Chair, I understand the Honourable Ditebe's position, but when we can be very pleased with the inclusion of a new generation of engineers, as you have said, Chair, but I just recognizing that certain language is controversial at the moment, at a time when we have a hot topic issue, I would caution that including it in this report, because we encounter amazing engineers at all of the oversight we are doing. We see it in a lot of places. But if we want to politicize a current issue in the report, I just caution that it could create challenges for us with these reports. And the Honourable Dateba understands exactly what I am saying. So I don't want this, because in the end we are being very successful at driving issues, visiting places, highlighting the issues and the successes and the problems. But if we start using these reports, especially around particular timeous issues, it could create challenges. So just in terms of modifications to the report, I would again like to caution against those type of inclusions which can politicize our work-focused committee. Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
Honourable member, please, let's, Honourable Makola, I will come back to you. Honourable Kobe.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I'd just like to say with regards to the oversight, Chair, I think I've been pleasantly surprised with the things that we have seen. And I think as national leaders, or as leaders that are serving within the National Assembly, it is important for us to continuously have oversight over the work that the department is doing in various provinces and the work that is delayed in various other provinces as well. Chair, I'd just like to say, with regards to the CMAs, the oversight, I think the next oversight that we should endeavor to do is to look at the CMAs and to really zone in on them. I think this portfolio committee has had a lot of problems with delayed projects, and we had the opportunity to see where the issues are and where the problems could be, whether it's water boards or municipalities. I think we've had quite a good grasp on seeing the value chain and where each one has issues. I think I'd just like to propose that on our next oversight that we maybe focus on catchment management agencies because that's where the most problems are, and I think that because they're operating within somewhere in the value chain, it's like they're hidden, and I'd like for us to zone in and zoom into those in our next oversight visit. But honestly, Chair, this oversight, it really was, I could agree with Honourable Reddy that it was crammed and there was lots to take in, but it was really excellent, and I think it gave us a huge understanding. Even though it was crammed, it gave us a vast understanding of what the department has achieved so far and what still needs to be done and maybe replicated throughout the country. And also, Chair, maybe if I could ask Honourable Moore to be more specific with the issues that he's speaking about that are politicized. We wouldn't want this report to get stuck somewhere because of these issues, but at the moment, I think when I read the report, I was unaware of such things. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll take cognizance of the future reports and maybe also use this opportunity to thank the officials of Parliament that set up this oversight. I agree. We can do a little bit less in more days, less oversight. We could not even go to all of the sites that was on the table, but we will look at it when we do the next one. Can I then ask Honourable Makola, you were the next? Makola?
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning, honourables and officials. Chairperson, nami ngishaya istembu la ngithi i-oversight ibaluleke kakhulu le oversight ngayibona ikwazi ukuthi sibone inkinga ukuthi zikuphi zilele kuphi like njengokuthi nje inkinga eziningi zagcina seyicaca ukuthi no umasipala nokuthi kanjalo kubhekelela ukuthi basebenze kanjani. And yangihlaba kakhulu umxhele ukubona onjiniya bakithi abamnyama noma bala eSouth Africa ukuthi lelizwe eqinisweni sinabo onjiniya like njengoba ngilonga inombuzo before ukuthi if makuze kulanda onjiniya from outside the country kanti lama university esinawo abakanabo yini onjiniya. Bese ngibuyela nakule yaseMkhomazi water treatment la ngayibona khona ukuthi kunenkinga khona zokuthi kuze sigcine silahlekelwa umphefumulo wekhansela nama security ngenxa yalama mafia angafuni ukubona ama-project azothuthukisa umphakathi. Lilonke nje chair mina ngabonga ukuthi masikhala ngokuthi asiyeni kwi-oversight singalo sihleli ndawonye ukwazi ukusivumela ubhala incwadi. Kanjalo lento kufanele siyibheke ukuthi kufanele singagcini kulama oversight kade sekuwona like KwaZulu Natal and Gauteng. Nasiphinde sihambe futhi siphumele nakwamanye ama-province like Eastern Cape, Limpopo, njalo njalo. Ngoba lezi inkinga zikhona nakhona kuze sikwazi ukubheka ukuthi inkinga ingakuphi njengoba abantu bakithi bekhala bengenawo amanzi. Chairperson lilonke nje mina ngokwami umngeni thukela ngubonile umsebenzi omuhle abawenzile nabawenzayo nalento la plant abayenze lapho kaXimba ingihlaba umqhele ngoba yona khombisa ukuthi noma ngathiwa ugesi awukho bayakwazi ukuba ne-generator ukuphampa amanzi angene kule ndawo ukuze abantu baphuze. Ngalo ndlela chair mina nje angiboni ukuthi mangathi ngiyayifeyilisa ngithi angiyisupport le BRR ngabe ngisho ngani. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I think we have dealt now with this report. Tamani, did you take up these suggestions from some of the members?
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, I think I will be able to.
Tamani, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Chairperson, can you hear me?
Chair, we can hear him.
Colleagues,
I don't know
can
if it's something
you
your
hear me?
side.
I can hear you, Chairperson. Are you hearing me now, Chairperson?
We can hear you, Tumani.
Yeah, we can. I hear you, but
okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I have noted the comments.
Come again. Who spoke? Is it?
It's Tomani.
It's Tumamina.
Oh, wait a bit. It's my mistake. I put on the interpretation. I've just got to go to main.
Tumamina, it's different things.
Okay, Tumani, you can continue now.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, that is on a lighter note, Mr. Reddy. But anyway, I have taken the notes. I will edit the report accordingly. So I don't see anything that is going to change the essence of the report or the substance. So, but so I've read the comments and will consider them.
All right. Can you then put that in a report and then also put that report on the WhatsApp group? Colleagues, can we then make this arrangements? You vote for it, and those who don't vote, we accept that you have voted for it. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I raised my hand before you.
My apology, Honourable Dithebe.
Yeah, Chairperson, let me start. I've got just two issues. The last one is just a comment generally based on what you said, which was quite excellent. The chair, you know, the absence of offtake agreements, and I'm referring here to the Umgeni Utugela, is very much directly linked to the inability of Umgeni Utugela. Remember, we had about 19 water boards. We have now about 9. And if you look at the footprint of the water board there, it stands a very good opportunity to extend its jurisdiction, its operations throughout KwaZulu-Natal. And where people do not have access to water, and this is the point that colleagues have been raising all the time, in part, I think must be understood, and it's got nothing to do with us because we are a portfolio committee on water and sanitation. Besides, our own department cannot foist that down the throats of water service authorities. It is very much an issue between COCTA and municipalities, etc. What it is that COCTA does to impress upon municipalities that have not concluded offtake agreements with Umgeni Utugela to ensure that situations such as what you have in the lower Umkomazi, in KwaXimba, etc., benefits the rest of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Because I think if we miss that important point, Chairperson, our content advisor will know how to phrase that. But I found it to be one of the very serious shortcomings as far as the work of Umgeni Utugela. All colleagues agree that it is very professional in the way it does its work, etc. And we also saw, for example, with the other part of lower Umkomas, there is an engineer there, you know, I think he's over 70, very, very experienced, and he went to China recently, happens to be white, by the way. And people should understand, when we talk affirmative action, we also talk of instances where you would have people that would have had opportunities in the past, in this instance being white people, who pass their experience on to the younger ones, majority of whom in this instance will happen to be black. And it is in that context that honorable members should understand it's not just a matter, it's not about exclusion. It's about us building human capital in the best way possible. That is the South African way of doing it. And if you look, for example, even at the provincial head, a young, able, very competent white woman, very much appreciated it. So it must be understood in that context. It's not retaliatory. It's got nothing to do with retribution. But I think you captured the sentiment very well, Chairperson, and thank you for affording Honourable Moore an opportunity to explain himself. But I think the one of take agreement, Chairperson, is important. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, just to come back, Tomani will now put both this report as well as a BRRR report on the WhatsApp group. If you don't vote, we accept that you support the report.
Sorry, Chairperson, can I just come in quickly?
Yes, Honourable Reddy.
Sorry, Chair, this is a report it's an oversight report. So I don't think it is a report where we vote on. We should have voted on the BRRR. Basically here, we just raise our concerns, our points, and suggestions, which is what we've done today. So we note the report and then we submit the report. It will come as a report to full sitting where we will make comments there further and extract what we observed in the oversight.
You're 100% correct, but what we now request him is to amend this report a little bit with with the stuff that you have given, or Honourable Moore of Honourable Kobe. So it's just going to be amended. We don't vote, but what I'm trying to say is everybody requested that we just add a little bit flesh onto this oversight report. You don't need to vote on the matter. What I'm just saying is go through the report. If you see major mistakes on the report, just show that out to us, because you will debate this report in Parliament, if that is in order with everybody.
In order, Chair. Thank you.
Colleagues, I think that is then all. And Nosipo, is that end of the work for today?
Yes, it is, Chairperson.
Colleagues, thank you very, very much.
Chairperson, before you close, I think it is important that we need to adopt the reports, and it should be noted who supported the adoption with...
Of what? What report is that now?
All of them. The oversight report needs to be adopted, and as well as the BRRR. Okay,
so we've already... The BRRR report, the MKP party has indicated that they reserve their right to have a discussion on this report. Is there any other party that would like to do that? The DA?
Chair, the reports as they stand, we're happy to support, but obviously they're going to be edited, so we cannot, without knowing what those edits are going to include, we cannot give our support at this time. My understanding was your proposal was once the reports were done, they'd be put into the WhatsApp group, and then we'd be able to support or not support them there. The vote would be taken on the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
That's 100% correct. Can we deal with it that way? So when you see the final reports, Honourable Reddy, then you can indicate whether you support or don't support.
100%. Thank you.
And the other parties can do exactly the same. Colleagues, with that said, I then now, if there's nothing else, we can then adjourn this meeting. And we most probably see each other in the sitting this afternoon.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
Chair, there's something.
Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Selu. Yes, Honourable Ditebe.
Chair, it would be remiss of you to conclude the meeting without serving us lunch virtually.
I faxed you all the lunch. It's fine. Thank you. All right. See you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chair.
Bye.
Chair.
Yes.
The issue we spoke about yesterday. Well, should we take that offline?
I will communicate. I haven't seen it yet. I will speak to Nosipa now after the meeting.
All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Bye.
But Chair, before you go, the Water Institute thing, have we concluded it? Please, can we just ensure that we know in advance when is that being done? How many days it will take? When is that? I know we spoke about it, but just the details, my Chair.
I believe he has left, but that's the same thing we're talking about. Is it the conference?
Okay,
Lebza.
Is it the conference? Is it the conference?
Not the conference.